Hello ladies and gentlemen, Capcheck here at E3 with first hands-on gameplay with Mountain Blade Bannerlord. This was probably the most anticipated game on the list from you guys outside of like Battlefront for me to get my hands on and play, especially over on the Discord. So, what you're going to see in the background is footage that I was given. Sadly, I wasn't able to capture any of my own footage, but what you're seeing here is basically what I had a chance to play. My first impressions? Simply put, it's Mountain Blade with that classic combat with much improved graphical fidelity and way better animations. Sitting down for the demo, I was able to jump into a small skirmish map with 3 or 4 NPCs spawning at a time in waves coming out to fight. The combat is fun and it's fluid. Picking the direction you swing to get around enemies' defenses, much like how Mountain Blade plays. New to the combat system is directional shield blocking. So say if you fail to judge the direction of incoming attack and still manage to block it, the shield will still block, it'll break faster. So if you guess the incoming direction and block the shield with it, you kind of like glance the blow off, saving your shield from more damage. Shield bashing is a welcome addition, giving the enemy a quick stun, a quick whack to the face. Attack chaining is the newest feature, and it took the longest for me to get a handle on. Swings that complete their motion can now be chained into a follow-up attack, which can catch your opponent off guard. Unbalanced weapons such as hammers and axes also use this extra momentum to get the second swing in faster. This seems to be all about pacing. When you left click, you've got to know when to click again to get that second attack going. I was incredibly bad at it. The biggest addition to combat has to be the improved animations though. After getting a handle on the basics of combat, I jumped into a skirmish map. They had 2 of them on offer. Sadly, I never got to see any of the overworld RPG stuff, any of those mechanics, or the map that they're going to be using. Just these 2 large-scale battles. One of the new systems implemented into Mountain Blade is the Sergeant system. Commanders now can designate units to other lords in battle, including the player. So basically, if you're in a fight with another lord or higher up on your side in the food chain, they can actually make you a sergeant of their army and give you command of a certain unit. For example, in this battle, I was given command of some cavalry. And the commander of the battle would actually give me basic orders to follow, and they were pretty vague orders like, go harass the enemy as a horse archer, or go attack their line while they're weak. It was very open commands that let me figure out the best way to go about following those commands and figuring out how I wanted to attack. So I wasn't locked into, I must be here and I must do this. Another improvement seemed to be the battlefield AI. Now while fighting these matches, I noticed that the enemy would take position on the high ground to rain arrows down upon my men. While playing, I had a chance to ask the devs some basic questions. Questions like, are we going to see the same level of modding support that all the Mountain Blades have been famous for? Which was very confirmed. They're striving to have a system much like the Elder Scrolls series where you can install multiple mods easily and then have them actually work together. That's exciting stuff. I asked if they happened to add like a pulled out camera, almost like say the Total War series, a tactical view. And surprisingly, the answer was yeah, sorta. When fighting in siege battles, at the start of the battle, you'll actually get a pulled out view to position your defenses. Some of the castles are so large, it'd be very difficult to set up your men. But once the battle starts, it's all about that single character perspective, so you're not going to be playing this like an RTS from above. Bannerlord was playing beautifully at what felt like a very solid frame rate with hundreds of detailed characters on screen battling it out. I mean, there is something so impressive about watching these cavalry run right headlong into enemies, and something very satisfying with running over archers with your cavalry. These maps were very open with very little structures and stuff filling the screen, so keep that in mind. No word yet on the multiplayer caps, but I've got a feeling it's going to be fairly large. I know I'm looking forward to giving this a try with the community over on Discord. Lastly, the RPG skills still work the way that you expect them to in Mountain Blade. The more you use something, say a sword, the better you'll get at swordsmanship. Alright guys, this is going to wrap up this video. If you have any questions about my experience with the game, let me know in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel for more sci-fi modding gaming goodness. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.